What's going on, everybody? I'm going to give you another little tutorial here for the Sega Genesis 3, or Sega Genesis Slim as some call it, maybe even the Sega Genesis Mini. This thing has a couple different names actually. This is actually really simple, really simple to take apart. It's not much to it. It's even more simpler than the originals. So first thing you'll need is a Phillips head screwdriver. And the little electronic or jewelry screwdrivers don't hurt, because there are a few little small screws that might need those. And that's really it. So let's get started. First you're going to flip it over and take out the 4 screws here. And yeah, that's going to be too big, so we're going to use our miniature screwdriver here. Just take all 4 of them out. And it does work just a little differently for the other Sega Genesis, obviously, just because they're made a little different, so they have to be taken apart a little bit differently. But for the most part, it's going to be kind of the same, it's just a little bit more compacted. And actually, I believe... No, never mind. I was about to say, I think that they use the same power, but they don't. I know it uses a different prong to power it, so it wouldn't fit the old Sega Genesis prongs, but I thought it actually used the same power, but it looks like it doesn't. It's off by a few amps and a volt. Alright, so now we got that apart, and it just slips right off. And then we're going to do that and kind of get the screws out of there. Try to be careful not to lose them, because there's only 4 of them that hold it all in place. And I like to set those in a little tin or something. Something kind of like this, something with 4 sides just to hold them together. Alright, next we're going to take the shield off. With this, you're just going to take all the screws that you can see around the outside that hold it on. There's 2 more right here on the outside. I'm actually going to flip this so I can see a little bit better here. Yeah, there's also one more right next to the one I'm taking out right now. That actually doesn't attach to the actual shield. Yeah, it kind of looks like it does, but it doesn't. So you don't have to take that out quite yet. And then there's the insides of it. Pretty amazing, actually, that they were able to compact everything. I don't like how these are bent over, though. This thing works just fine, but typically when you see that, it may sometimes if you see that, it's not a bad idea to kind of bend them up just a little bit, because if they get bent over too much more, they can actually pull out and start leaking, and that'll definitely cause you some issues. So yeah. Next we'll take out the motherboard and pin connector. We'll take out these 2 screws. Now, unlike the Super Nintendo, this pin connector right here does not simply come off, and so you can't just replace it per se if you've got a bad one. That's unfortunate, but that's just the way they made it. Okay, that little screw is stripped out a little bit on mine. Next you're going to have this screw right here, another little black screw right here. Another thing is too is that the controller ports, most of the other consoles, the controller ports will come out separately, but these don't either. Just another little weird squall. Now this one, you'll also take this out now. I believe that's a MOSFET that holds that in. I'm not 100% sure what the purpose of that is. It may actually be part of the grounding. But it could also just be part to hold it in there a little bit better, I guess. And then that just slips right out. There is a little plate right here, so you want to be careful and not kind of rip that out, because you would run the risk of ripping the rest of it out. So just be careful of that. And then what you're left with is just the shield, the bottom shield piece, and that comes right out as well. So that's all for that. I am going to go through a little tutorial about how to clean up the pin connectors a little bit. If you're getting some reading issues and stuff like that. So if you want to do that, make sure to subscribe, and you can check that video out. Go through my videos and check it out. But anyways, I appreciate you guys watching. Make sure to subscribe. I've got loads of tutorials and case mounting tutorials and cool stuff like that. So yeah, appreciate it.